Michele Coleman Mayes. I am the General Counsel and Secretary for the New York Public Library.
There have been big changes to the legal profession over the last 6 or 7 years. I'm wondering have you seen law firms change during that period?
Not enough. There have been things that I would have paid for, that any organization would have paid for as a client in the past. Information, newsletters, I get those for free now. And I don't think it's because they're being altruistic about it. They've decided that it's too easy for people to get access to much of the information. It's true for libraries. You can now go on and Google, as everybody uses it as a verb, and get what it is you need to know. In-house counsel have become more and more sophisticated. When I went in-house it was 35 years ago, it's frightening to say that, 33 years, let me shave a few off. 33 years ago when I first went in-house. And the rap on an in-house lawyer was that you were not a real lawyer, that you couldn't cut it in the private practice, so this was your way to save face and still carry your practicing law mantle, but you weren't doing the real work of the profession. That has changed dramatically. In-house counsel are demanding that law firms, and for years now, become more efficient. The billable hour is the antithesis of being more efficient. And so the whole model for law firms, which is still largely premised on the billable hour, I would love to see that meet its demise much faster. It is certainly not the only way that services are paid for. It still remains the predominant way. But it does not mesh with the goal of in-house counsel. They're expected to get the best service for the least cost. When law firms were then submitting invoices where they itemized everything they did and charged accordingly, when I would get those invoices, I would say, oh my goodness, they charged $300 an hour or $500 an hour to read documents. I can probably get this done cheap. So by giving me insight into everything they were charging for, it's like a la carte, I can pick and choose what I decide to eat. And so I think in some ways, you can argue that that transparency of what they wanted to charge for also gave us the information we needed to say, not anymore. On the diversity front, let me go there for a minute. It is pretty pathetic in law firms, and I don't think that is too strong a word. And I'm clearly focusing on women, people of different ethnicities. Asians have done better, especially since the economic downturn. But for other minorities, the economic downturn saw an exodus, either involuntary or voluntary, and we have not really regained the momentum from that. Women partners, and I want to focus on women partners in particular, it is almost stagnant. It's around 15% equity partners. And to me, there's no justification for that. It's not because we don't have a sufficient pipeline. It isn't because we're not talented. It isn't because we're not interested. And so all of the objective factors would say there's no credible explanation except, in my mind, implicit bias.